to a lady wife. You know, nowadays we have different ones. I have 3 sons, those that God has blessed me with, but I foster 5 others, so I have a total of 8 kids. They're not young. The eldest is in 4th year. The youngest is 2 years old. So hoping everyone now is able to get me and has gotten the introduction. Allow me share my screen so that we're able to see what we need to talk about. A few ground rules maybe so that we don't get to disturb each other. Please just make sure you're muted if you can. Eva, you can reach out to Evelyn Injeri. She is not on mic as well, so that you're able to sort it out privately. So, asante sana. Let me share my screen. Then let's be ready to share. If I call you out, kindly you allow me. Let me run the slide like that. And to be sure that it is clear on your end. Okay, you can see we are all in the meeting. So now I can see, yes, we are okay. So when you hear about mentoring, what is it that crosses your mind? Is it an activity that you can jump into and out of? Is it something that you can learn? Is it an inherent gift that you can do? Or is it a job that you can be trained on and get into it? And does it even make sense that you need to have to mentor someone, or do you need to be mentored? Okay, let me just find out from one or two people. Let me hear from just Leon. You can unmute yourself. Leon Patrick, do you have a mentor? Okay, Leon doesn't seem to get it. Paul Mutuku, do you have a mentor? Joyce is saying she has a mentor, showing a thumb. Very nice.
No, I don't have one.
You don't have one. Are you a mentor to someone?
I'm looking forward to be a mentor.
Okay, let me see someone else. Wamboi, do you have a mentor? And what is the role of a mentor? You do?
Yes, I do have a mentor.
All right. And do you have a mentee?
Yes, I have many mentees.
Oh, that is very nice of you.
Yeah.
Now, thank you. Thank you. You can mute back.
Okay.
The question I want to ask ourselves, when you want to reach out to younger people, or whoever person you want to reach out, we're talking about mentees, we're talking about mentors. Who are these? Okay. And why do we need to reach out to the younger people that we're looking for? Let me just make that first explanation of who a mentor is. I know I will talk about it as we go along. But in general terms, a mentor is someone that you will work with, someone that you're free to talk to, someone that you are free to ask for any kind of an advice. And that advice is not necessarily directed in one direction. It could take any form of direction as long as it's someone that you trust and someone that you're working with over a period of time. Someone that you fully trust. Whoever that you can tell something and it remains between you and that person. That is the person that we refer to as a mentor. But in our organizations where we are, why are we looking out for mentors? or why we want to mentor others? Do we have specific reason? Is it because we want to help them? Because some of us want to be mentors because we feel the person we want to be a mentor for needs our help. Or whenever we are looking for mentors, do we look for mentors who can help us? Or are we doing this because we love someone? Okay, the love in there. Are we doing it because we love someone? We want to reach out to younger generation because we love them? Or is it because we want to be pillars with them? We want to grow with them, okay? Or is it we are doing all this because we care about society or we care about our institutions, okay? Why would this gentleman who said this in South Sudan, why would you want to mentor? Why would you want to reach out to younger people, okay? For example, in your church, is it because you care about your church or you care about the person that is coming? Is it about because you're caring about the institution, or you're caring about yourself, or you're caring about the mentee in question? So then our agenda today will be about what mentorship is, which most of us know, then how we can engage with the younger people, and then how to make a communication with them. And of course, we'll see finally what my general terms are. I have asked a few people whether they have mentors and they have mentees, but let me find out, why would you want to have a mentor? Wambui, you said you have a mentor. Why would you want to have a mentor?
I have a mentor because in my field, I'm looking at their experience and also the knowledge that they have. And what they do is that they give me advice because I guess I'm less experienced. So that's why I have a mentor. I have several mentors because of the different things that I am doing. So experiencing the different fields. Thank you.
Right. So we in the case of Wambui, she has a mentor because that mentor has something that she will learn from. Okay, that is Wambui's case. Who else has a mentor? Who else has a mentor that I can hear from? Let me see. Who else? I'm trying to see the people online and see who I can ask that. There is Dan Oginga. Do you have a mentor? And if you do, why do you have one? Or why would you want to have one? Dan is muted. Okay. The thing is, we need to discuss this, all of us, so that we can be able to go through it. The question we ask ourselves then is, who is your mentor? And so in this group, who do we want to mentor? And why do we want to do it? Okay. The second question we ask ourselves within mentorship is, where have we seen mentoring relationships happening? Or how have we come to learn about mentorship? Is it because we've heard about it? Is it something we've engaged in? So that as we come to understand what the whole this thing is so that we're able to get to know exactly what we are engaging in. And then what are the good qualities of a good mentor? We will see as we go along what you need to do, especially when you're targeting young people. But basically, this is how the program in Alberta, the institution called Alberta, is defining what mentorship is. It's saying that mentorship is the presence of a caring individual. The presence of a caring individual, one, Wambui said she has more than one, who provides you okay, with number one, support. Okay, and support in this case is not necessarily financial. This support can be spiritual, this support can be advice-wise, okay? Support comes in many ways. It doesn't have to be material support. Someone who will provide you with support, okay? So the presence of that person then makes that relationship between those two to be mentor-mentee relationship. It says also it is the presence of a person who provides you with advice. That person is able to give you, the person you can talk to, and he will give you the right advice. Not just any, the right advice. If you look at that picture, these two people there, I'm assuming it's a mentor and a mentee. You see the smile from the mentor, and probably the mentee, in this case, he's so stressed. But that kind of a smile that's coming out with the advice will actually brighten the face and help the young person, the youth. The third one is the presence of a person who provides you with friendship. A mentor is not someone who judges you. It's not someone who wants to listen to you and get to know or get to judge you. It's someone who gives you some level of friendship. Okay, so that when you're making a discussion with that person, you open up because this person is actually your friend. Okay, one of my mentors is called Evans. Whenever we meet and I'm telling him, "Sir, we want us to have a discussion," usually he'll tell me, "Jared, before we get the discussion, let's have a cup of tea." Then we'll get a cup of tea or coffee and we start having a discussion. Without necessarily saying, now the time has come for us to start having a discussion. So whenever he says that, when we are taking tea or we're taking coffee and we're just chatting, we get into that relationship status, friendship kind of, and you find that you will not have another time to discuss other things because within the friendship setup, you've sought for advice that you are looking for, and you more or less have opened up to your mentor as it were. This basically tells us that if mentorship therefore is the presence of someone who is a friend, it then would mean that the setup for mentoring is supposed to be an open setup. It's not supposed to be a very official setup that now I want to mentor you, come sit down and I mentor you. Or a mentee tells you, "Sir or Madam, I want you to mentor me, kindly give me time, we sit down, you mentor me." Then that becomes more or less a lecture. It becomes quite not on the basis of mentorship. Then allow me. Sorry, someone left his phone with me around here and it was making noise. Anyway, so therefore, you're being a mentor, you need to offer friendship. You need to offer friendship to your mentee. Another thing that you will find in mentorship is that that person is supposed to be a reinforcement. It's supposed to be a reinforcement, okay? Giving you some level of strength. Giving you some level of strength. Look at it like this. That a young person comes to you and tells you, let me pick an example that usually hurts most people. This is a young girl who is approaching Evelyn or Wamboi or whoever it is in the meeting. And then she tells you, this guy has dropped me. She's hurt already. So how do you provide her with the strength to overcome? The strength to accept, the strength to go on. Okay. So in the talk that you have, you end up reinforcing. Remember, no one will be taught on how to be strong. No one. No one will ever teach you how to be strong. The strength usually comes from within you, meaning the work of a mentor will to bring out that strength in someone. Okay, bring it out by having constructive talk. So the presence of a person who gives you support, a person who provides you with adequate and right advice, a person who is a friend to you, a person who reinforces your thoughts. Someone comes and tells you, I have these three choices and I have to make one. And you're helping the person, not choosing for the person, but helping the person make the choices by himself or herself. Okay, and that person has to be a role model, not just a role model, but a constructive role model. And this is what we mean by a constructive role model. Someone, for example, a young person, you want to talk to a young person, don't tell that person to keep time. Okay, you want to tell him the best thing in life in the first place is if you are disciplined with time, then you can do many things and you will be quite organized and ordered. Now, you set up a meeting and yourself, the mentor, you're coming in late. You are a role model, yes, but not constructive. That which you're saying, you do it. Then your mentee will get it out of you. I know somehow in my culture there is a saying that goes like this: do as I say and not as I do. It's in my culture. And my father is very good at asking us to do that all the time. I tell you, do as I tell you, not because I'm doing it. Because I remember when we were young, he would really ask us to do things that he has never done himself. Thanks, now he's gotten old and he cannot force us to do many of those things. But usually when, as a mentor, the things you're talking about, you're able to portray them. You're talking about time management, you're able to be disciplined with time. You're talking about faithfulness and you're able to show it. You're talking about commitment to the things that you do and you're able to show the commitment. Then your mentee will be able to pick it. So wholesomely, my definition here then goes that the presence of a caring person who will give you or another person advice, support, friendship, reinforcement in their thoughts, and being role models makes that person a mentor. And therefore, the relationship between the two of them is what then we refer to as a mentorship process. So where you will have now then a mentor and a mentee happening. Now, just think for yourself where you're coming from, the environment where you're coming from, the younger person you're with that we want to reach out to. What kind of support do you give him? For example, if you're a parent, is giving money to your child support that we're talking about? Okay, is advising them when they've already messed? Okay, the mentorship we're talking about. Just ask yourself. Usually, I know, like this part of advice, most people provide a lot of advice, but at the wrong time. You find, for example, someone has messed up. Let me pick an institution, for example, AIU, for instance. And you have, let me see, who do I know in this meeting that is a boss? Let me check. Okay, just meet that person. I saw Lucy Kinyo here, what? For example, or Grace, for instance. I have seen Grace taking the meeting, and she has 5, 10, 15 people under her, and she realized that one of these people really has problems. But whenever that person has messed, is when she provides advice. Will that advice really work? In most cases, timing is also very important. What time do you want to provide that advice so that the advice does not come as correctional, but rather becomes something continuous, something that someone will get even if he was not in that kind of a mess. Okay. But you notice then that mentorship has not just started just here. You will realize that even in the Bible, Jesus has already told us that he's our mentor. Okay, in John chapter 13, verse 13. Actually, you read the whole of that up to verse 16, where Jesus says, I am the teacher and the Lord, meaning I am your mentor. In fact, if you read it further, there it is, an excerpt that if I, then the Lord and the teacher, washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. For I give you an example that you also should do as I did to you. Meaning, this whole idea of mentorship is not new. It's something that is well grounded in the Bible. In fact, if you do a bit of Google on the mentorship quotes or mentorship foundations in the Bible, you'll see so many of the examples where Jesus tells people, I am this, and so you can do this, or you need to do that. Meaning, you need to be role models in society. You see several of the saints, you will see several of the disciples of Jesus mentioning this well later after Jesus had left. Okay. So when you look at this, my graph here, you would see that for you then to provide mentorship, you are doing a lot to the young person. And one of those things that you do is that you're helping that young person to have what we refer to as an increased attention. I will use a few real examples. Number one, someone's mute. A few examples on how to improve the attention of the young person that you're mentoring. Let me go back, for example, myself when I was in high school, and given that I came from a fairly, what people would call humble backgrounds, and humble for sure, for meaning the word. And you're not able to pay school fees, you've been chased out of school, you don't have school uniform, you don't have a place to stay. These are some of the things that I faced while I was in high school. And in as much as I thought I was bright or I would understand things, in many instances I lost the attention in class. And then I got this one person who comes and tells me, Jared, when you are in class, you do this. When you're out of class, you do this. Learn to separate the things that you are thinking about. So we start learning early on how to separate different issues. That means that then someone is able to have some kind of attention as time goes by. The level of attention in that person is actually enhanced. I've seen it in one of my sons who would look at something like this and spend the whole time there. I mean, you'd ask him, give me a cup of water, and then look at you like this, because he was watching some cartoon and he has forgotten completely what he was doing. And he's now almost 12 years, and we've realized that is how he is. So then we keep on asking him to try and separate things. So once this comes, just try and separate it so that you can have an attention. Usually mentorship helps young people to improve their attention on particular issues, whether it is relationships, whether it is, and when I talk about relationships, I'm referring to the whole wide range of relationships. We talk about relationship between them and church, them and parents, them and their friends, them and whoever it is. And mentorship also helps young people improve their level of communication. They enhance communication skills. When Wamboi said that she has more than one mentor, what she basically meant is that there's something that she needs from this kind of a person, and there's something else that she needs from another kind of a person, so that she's able to grow. And for instance, one of those things that you want to learn, or you as a mentor want to impart in the young person that is coming, is to enhance their social skills, help them develop their social skills, help them develop their communication skills. There are many people out here. I mean, a number of you probably come from the church setup. And you realize that amongst the youth, you might be having 30, 40, 50, 100 youth, but those that you will always hear talk are 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, but there are those who you will never hear completely talk about anything, because they are geared in a way that they do not want to express themselves. So those are the people that you need to reach out to, so that you're able to improve their social skills. Because I've always realized, and this has been proven even in my own life, that without interpersonal relationship, without having the social skills, you will not grow. Why? Because people grow because they are stepping on the shoulders of others. No one grows by himself. You grow by stepping on the shoulders of others in most cases. So someone has to support you, okay, for you to grow. And because of that, then we need to provide support. We need to provide these people to grow, just grow on us, not so that they can be like us, but be better than us. So meaning we need to approach them with some level of humility and consideration. And in most cases, we assume that young people know, and so we are like, if you don't do this, you need to be punished. Another thing that will have to be improved is that whenever you offer a good level of mentorship to a younger person, you help that person improve their level of confidence and enhance their self-esteem. I mean, many young people, a number of them will not tell you where their problem is because they feel you will judge them. And so why do they feel you will judge them? Because their self-esteem is fairly low. You ask a young person to start and introduce himself or herself, and he only mentions a single name and he runs away because his level of confidence is low. Okay, so we need to help these young people to know a few things. For example, they need to understand themselves. They need to know where they are, okay, in terms of will they be there punctually. And when you're doing this, we are not supposed to do this as a punishment. We do this as a way of providing a lesson to these young people. We help them understand why they need to grow, and they don't need to give up. They need to push on, trying harder in life. These are not things that you only preach. These are things that you talk to an individual. By the way, a discussion between two individuals seated right opposite each other, talking as friends, becomes more impactful than when someone speaks from a distance. Okay. We also need to make them feel like their ideas are considered. They need to understand their ideas. They need to know that their ideas are important. They need to know that their ideas are also felt. Young people have very good ideas, very good ideas. Some of them will not say them until we make them say them. Okay, we need to, as we talk to them, we need to make them feel important. You know, I remember my high school teacher, head teacher, used to train us a song, and the song used to go like this. He used to say that animals usually ensure that their young ones are highly protected, and he used to tell us that you are very important. You as an individual, you're very important to society. We've not forgotten that old mzee now. But he used to tell us, in as much as everyone else is important, you start by yourself. You're very important. Another person will feel is important. Our level of importance will be higher, and we consider each other at that level. So when we feel that when we make the younger people feel like they are important, they feel better about themselves. And when they feel better about themselves, they improve their performance. And when they improve their performance, they equally improve the output of the organization where they are working. Okay. So how then do we get to engage with these people? I mean, they are young people. I mean, everyone tells you, yeah, watoto wa siku hizi. These are the things that we keep on talking about. But this watoto wa siku hizi are actually our children, and tomorrow they will have children behind them, which they will also call watoto wa siku hizi, and we probably need to pass some ideas to them. But again, younger people, as it were, have lacked some level of attention. I mean, and let me explain from the technological part of why younger people have a problem with older generation. Not really a problem, but a disconnect between the two of them. Is that when people were growing up, let me see who is here so that I can say when someone was growing up. When some people were growing up, many of us, we didn't have Google, for example, to Google and find more solutions. And now here you are, you want to sit a young person down and tell him the things he can do, the things he cannot do, yet he can Google those things very easily. Okay. So you find the way us want to talk to them is not necessarily the way they want to be talked to, or they are actually not available to be talked to in that sense. Okay. So then what happens? It's meeting someone. All right. So then we go. Sorry. I went to meeting someone. Yes. So the younger people, the approach that the younger people have is fairly different from the approach that most of us have. And somehow then when we get to know these approaches and we try to fit in, I mean, we have to try to fit in because it's the generations that we're bringing up, and these are our children, whose children will be our grandchildren and all that. And so we want them to grow in the ways that we want, or in the ways that we feel are right. Okay. Some few things that we need to note is that in your organization, you need to understand why would you want to provide a mentorship program, or why would you want to mentor someone in that organization? What is your goal? And goals in an organization, whether it's a business or it's a church or it's an NGO, whatever it is, the goals are diverse. I mean, some people want to mentor others so that the output of that person increases, and so the output of the organization increases, which finally means the profits go high. There are those who will want to provide mentorship to the people in their organizations. Why? So that the individuals in those organizations grow. If you're talking about, I know many people here who are from the church setup, want to provide mentorship to young people in church. Why? So that you develop a future generation, or so that your church can be strong. Okay, so the reasons are different, and as you set up that kind of an initiative in an organization, you need to clearly set out the reasons why you want to do that. Is there a culture within that institution that you want changed? Or is there a culture that you want maintaining? Okay, or is there a culture that you're losing and you want to restore back? One thing that you need to get, if you don't get this clear, because next slide we will see that young people have interest. So if you want to mentor the young person, that young person has an interest, and both your interests have to match. If they're not matching, then you will not get. Okay. When you want to offer that mentorship in that organization, the question you need to also ask yourself is, how do you want it structured? Okay. How will it be maintained over time? And then you also want to know, how can you reinforce it? Basically, do you need people to support it? And these people you're looking for, are they within your organization, or are they people from outside the organization? Okay. Then within that program of mentorship, you need to also understand what needs to happen within that mentorship. But I need to give a few examples around here. In AIU, for instance, we, in 2016 or 2017, thereabout, when the mentorship department started, there was an idea of ensuring that younger people who now joined the university would be talked to, and would be given ideals of the university and would be told what they are expected to do and what they are not expected to. And how was that done? That is done during orientation. That is done, so when we organize a mentorship talk, we have someone who talks to people. But as time has gone by, we've realized that talking to people is not always the solution. The best approach would be talking with each other, between us and those young people. So then you want to create a setup whereby a mentor, you have a mentor and you have a mentee, and you matching the two. So for example, Geoffrey, I can see Geoffrey Ongondo here. I assign him, and someone assigns him a younger person to work with, okay? Without judgments, because these are not people that know each other in most cases. Or even if they knew each other, I mean, it's not disciplinary. It's a free talk, free discussion between them. So you bring a younger person and you bring an older person, make them talk. So then that is the approach that a good mentorship program takes. So you have people who believe in the ideals of that institution and have goals. Remember here we've talked about the reasons why you need to have it. So you have reasons. So if it is a church, for example, and you have issues with young people, and I know churches usually have issues with younger people, it usually happens. And some people think it's out of this world. It usually happens, it has to continue like that. You set up, so you have a younger people. So like now, this is where the mentorship in AIU was coming on board, saying we need to have older people and younger people matched, so that every single young person has a mentor to talk to. And then once they've had a discussion and the mentor feels, for example, there is something that this child is suffering from, then he's able to escalate that probably this child is suffering from this and that. And once it's escalated, it's easier for the institution now to do a follow-up and help the young person from coming. So setting up the environment, for example, if it were my advice, I would want a scenario where you have a mentorship rooms, for example, where these people would meet, or where you would provide your mentor with some kind of an allowance, because a mentor wants to talk to a mentee and they're meeting in a cafeteria. And when they are meeting in a cafeteria, I mean, the mentor is spending because they have to take tea and all that. So you facilitate it so that the environment becomes freer. You get out of class, you get out of official work, so that this becomes a friendlier discussion. With young people, if the discussion is not friendly, you will be sure you will not have them. But what is it that they want? Mostly, younger people want to engage within social environment, social media, on mobile phone. I mean, I don't know how many of you have younger kids or brothers and sisters, and you realize that 90% of their time in the house, they are either on television or on your phone or on their phone, for those who can afford phones for their children. A lot of time, they are on their phones. Okay, and that's why we are thinking, for instance, would we think of coming up with a kind of an online mentoring program? Okay, where a mentor and a mentee would have a one-on-one discussion like this, but they're on social media. It's easier to catch them around that place. Okay. Now, when you find us are not on the social media where we can drop them a message, we have that disconnect. Younger generation, I don't know, we have been so conditioned towards technology. We're limiting ourselves towards it. So meaning the older generation, we need to train ourselves to be able to get them. Okay. There is a saying in my village that goes like this: whoever wants to eat has to go and pick food. Okay. To me, if we want to reach out to these younger people, we need to learn where to find them. And where you find them, in the olden days, you could find the youth in markets. You find them on the roadsides making discussions, especially if you're coming from the village and all that. But currently, that's not what is happening. In fact, If I was to carry out a poll here, how many people chase their kids from home, from their house to go out and play? You realize that you were there and the kid has not walked out the whole day. You chase him out, go out, and I'll chase him. Happens because they have been conditioned to be in that environment. Then would we also try to get into that environment? If it is WhatsApp, can we do that? If it's LinkedIn, can we do that? If it's Twitter, can we get there? If it's Facebook, can we get there? How do you reach them? Through social media. You will reach more in that environment than you would on a face-to-face basis. Okay. Something else that you need to get in your organization, apparently this is very wrong, but it works, is that most young people are looking at what is their benefit. What can they get from you? They want free resources. I don't know whether I'm the only one who has come across these young people. If you tell them we have a meeting for young people and we will have nyama choma or we'll have soda, you will see them there. I mean, I have tried it with a number of my students in the past, where I say we will have a meeting, and in that meeting we'll have a meal, and the meal will have nyama choma and we'll have something else. I mean, they love it. The meeting usually gets full. Out of 100 that I was targeting, I would have 103, 110. Younger people love free resources. Would you provide a free resource? If you're an organization and you're reaching out to younger people, would you provide things like internet? I mean, when they come and you make it conditional that the internet is Wi-Fi is free, but while they're accessing Wi-Fi, before they do, we must have a session to talk and talk about life, talk about relationships, talk about faith, talk about, you get, so that after that, they can use internet. You will have them. But if you're only calling them for talks, they wouldn't come. They love free resources. They want to attach something free to it. And it's not just younger people, even ourselves. If you look at how mobile service providers are advertising their bundles to us, they tell us, you buy at 100, you get another one. So they're giving us something free. So then it forces us to get there, okay? Number 3, younger people want to be given a chance to explore what they are getting into before joining it. Like you want to run a mentorship program. Do not assign them, do not start mentoring them before they reason around it. Try to convince them to have some kind of an exploration, okay? There is an organization that is looking for younger people in, I don't know how many here are coming from the side of Embu. In Mbeere, the MP for Mbeere set up a youth empowerment center and is provided for internet. Before then, it was a program that was running in that constituency innovation center. And he would have younger people, I mean, they would just pass by, they're not coming into it, until he decided to put up Wi-Fi. And he said the moment he puts up Wi-Fi, you must be trained for 2 hours on how to use technical skills before you start using internet for free. And that was like 2 or so years ago. And as we speak now, there's a project that World Bank is running. And in Mbeere South constituency is producing highest number of output from younger people in that generation, in that place, from the whole country, followed by another MP's area from Viwa, for example, in Kisumu, who's also doing the same, who has done fairly the same and put up a very good infrastructure. I was looking at, I might be using these examples because I have experience with them. I think 2 weeks ago, I was in Kirinyaga Central, and the MP has put up a very big social center for young people with over 300 seating capacity. And the place is full fairly all the time. Why? He's provided something free called the internet. But other than that, when they come, they are trained on technical skills. They're told, how can you do entrepreneurship for 1 hour? For you to have a chance to join it, okay? And I'm not selling, I'm not advertising these members of parliament. I mean, I have very many examples. I'm just remembering often who has done something that I have seen, and I've seen how it is impacting people. So younger people sometimes come there to just see, so what happens? They explore. So once they've done exploration, they jump in. Give them that opportunity to do an exploration in your program. Number 4, you must offer an outstanding value. Younger people want value. If they feel it is not valuable, you will not see them. However, their value is not very expensive. Younger people don't see advice as valuable alone. This you can take to the bank. They don't see advice as valuable alone. They will see it as time goes by. But as a mentor, you also need to think about how can my advice impact that person? What else? Try to explore before him, because you're building someone. If you build that person and that person builds another, you will build society, okay? And that's what I'm talking about, the last part, that we need to create chances for them. Create chances for them. Tell them this is possible. If then this is possible, try and do it. I will support you. And when they do it, you try to ensure that they do it with perfection. Guide them where you can. When a young person realizes that you're giving them responsibility and you're not working with them, they will not stay there. They won't. They will run away. Very few will stay there. Very few. And these are fairly gifted people. Okay. Okay. I have 15 minutes to go. Now, I have talked about the power of social media to reach out to younger people or younger generation. As a good mentor for young people, this is my free advice. Whenever you meet, listen more. Listen more. Listen, listen, listen. Let them talk. You ask them a question, do not interrupt. Listen. The art of communication with younger people, you listen more to them. They feel important. They feel someone has given an ear. Don't interject when they are speaking. Let them speak, finish, then you follow up with a question. I know sometimes we don't have that patience, but it is very important if you want to reach out to a younger generation. Listen to them. Unlike the older generation, in our time or older than us, when you would speak while your parent is speaking or when an older person is speaking and you'll be seen as an outcast, it's no longer there. They feel they need to be part of the communication. So because of that, one art of communication is listening to them. Listen, listen, listen. It's more to do with them than yourself. And then once you've listened, you ask them what I would refer to as leading questions. He has told you, oh, this happens and this happens and this happens. Let me pick an example of one young person who approached me a few days ago. And he was telling me he wants to stop schooling because he has no school fees. Then I asked him, what is the problem? He tells me, I come from a single mother family and my mom does not have a job. And we are 2 of us. My brother is in high school, so she's more concentrating on my brother than myself. But equally, when I look, she has no money. So kindly allow me withdraw from school. Then I asked him, once I've listened to the whole story, I asked him, if you had a chance, what would you have done yourself to make sure that you remain in school? And they will tell you, you would say, if I got a job, I would work part-time and go to school, or go to school part-time and work full-time. What kind of work can you do? Get leading questions. Leading questions. Have you tried to talk to your grandparents? Do you have one? Yes, I have both my grandparents are there. Have you talked to your uncles? No, I've never talked to them. Would you mind talking to them, for example? You ask them if they could give you 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 or 5,000, whichever amount of money they can give you per month. And then if you can achieve that, you come and we have a discussion. And then the guy left. After 1 week, he came back with a list of 11 names. And this one has agreed to give me 2,000 shillings per month for the next 5 months. This one has agreed to give this month. We realized that he's now able to raise about 15 to 17,000 shillings per month. His school fees per semester is about 80,000. So if you do that by 4, it's closer to school fees. And the guy has continued going to school. The thing is, in most cases, you listen, ask leading questions so that they are able to make decisions on themselves, by themselves, for themselves. Okay? Always remember that communication, as per research, is 7% what we say. It is about 38% of how we say it. It is 55% effective on non-communication. Okay. Note those, that the more you speak, 7% chances of your mentee getting anything. How you speak it increases that to 38%. Okay. How you express yourself has 55% chance of that young person getting it. Okay. Very important things to note here quickly is that when you're making communication, you are in the mentorship session, you're discussing with that young person, kindly make sure that you have eye contact. Okay. Look at your student. You will see who is lying to you. You will see who is testing you. Please don't tell them, you're testing me, you're lying to me. No, 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 no. Then you become aggressive. Okay. Be bright, be sharp. Don't ask questions that will make the person feel that you are aggressive or like you're catching. In mentorship, it's not about getting people out of mistakes. It's helping them get out of mistakes by themselves. Okay. Whenever they are speaking, give them attention. Do not encourage them a lot to speak too much. Okay. You do what I'm calling minimal encouragements. Okay. Don't say yes to everything. Don't say no to everything. I mean, you show the eagerness of listening. Okay. At the end, try to summarize what we say. Oh, you said this and this and this. Okay. Always they will then realize that you are actually listening to them. Then you ask them the leading questions that we talked about earlier on. Okay. In the event you have a response as the mentee keeps on talking, I would advise you hold it back until he's done. Then you give your response. So this way I said, don't interrupt. Okay. If you can, when you're having a mentorship session, kindly do not divide your attention. Don't be on your phone. Don't be on something else. Give your mentee attention. Okay. Remember we said up there, eye contact. Eye contact, very important. If you are on your phone, you lose the eye contact and someone feels it's not important. I'm very sure even yourself, when you are talking to someone and that someone is on phone, you feel like, is he listening or not? In fact, for me, I call you by name. I tell you, Nani, I was saying this so that I get you out of phone. Create a clear focus with him. Okay. Be friendlier. Okay, with your mentees. Younger people are not bad people. Young people are not difficult. Young people are not hard to catch. Usually what they have is that the way of their life is different from the way of the life that we grew up in. These are more technological. We were more analog. These are people you can catch on phone. We were not there. In our time, we had to be physical. But again, they are more exposed to other things that many of us were not exposed to. In fact, if I did a sample of the people in the meeting, I think we are about 30 or 27 thereabout. I asked how many people grew up with a television set in their houses while they were young. I wish I had asked Eva to create this poll before. We realize it's less than 5 or 10%. Many of us saw TVs while we had grown. In fact, even those of us who had them, remember TVs used to shut at night and then open in the morning, if you remember in those days. And your parent would lock, those who remember, TVs used to be put somewhere in the sitting room in a certain corner and they have a cabinet that parent would lock them in. The only time that they went on is when we had news, okay? And then it became worse when we had a program called The Bold and the Beautiful, and the parents really hated the televisions, many of them that time, and they could lock the television sets in the cabinets for many days. I know I had 1 hour of discussion. I started at 1:13, and this is, I started at 3:13, and this is 4:12. I want to open up for any questions so that we can share or sharing or contribution. So not just question for a few minutes, and then we wind up. Let me see. So if you have a question, I think I would go ahead and ask and get someone, give you a chance. I see Beth Baleke.
Okay.
I see your
Thank
hand
you
up.
very much. Thank you very much. Now, my question is that since I'm taking that our context is Christian, we are Christians, I'm just wondering this, if there is a biblical basis for these arguments and observations and research and experience you've had. Because as a Christian, sometimes we may go kind of like the opposite tide. As a Christian, our, our values and principles. Because when you think, and, where is, okay, let me give you an example. Where is room to teach our young people that they need to give? They need to sacrifice, because what I'm hearing here, I know that, you've given us examples that it has worked, but I'm just wondering, as Christians, is that the way to go? Help me, thank you.
That's very nice. A good question. I can't remember the slide number back. I even gave us one of the verses, John chapter 13, verse 13 to verse 16. But other than that, how would I teach a young person why he should give? What is more effective? For me, is it telling the young person to give or showing the young person the giving? If, for example, let me pick an example here that directly affected me. When I was in Form 2, I dropped out of school. And one of the teachers took me in, okay? That teacher used to go to this denomination while I went to this other denomination. He had young children. So one day, every Sunday would wake up, I walk in the opposite direction, while he also walks in the opposite direction to his church and myself to my other church. So one day he asked me, Jared, what kind of a lesson am I giving, or are you or me giving to my young ones? Because what they see is what they take in. So then we agreed. He asked me, would you mind us going to the same church? When we are done, you can now go to your church. So like that, my kids will follow what I am doing, and by us going to church, they will see what they are supposed to do because I am doing it. Okay? So if the best way to teach people to tithe, to give, to be compassionate, to be loving, is not always telling them. It's us practicing and showing them, working with them as we do it. So imagine if the young person that you want to teach on what giving is all about sees you doing it, then when you have a session of mentorship, it's a one-on-one discussion. This session was not particular about a specific area, it's general guidelines. So then you have a particular one discussion. He has seen you do it, because we said you need to be a role model. You need to see than hearing what you say, so that when you have a one-on-one discussion, one-on-one, not one with three, one-on-one, you and your mentee you're meeting, you can easily now explain to them, because they have seen you doing it, what is the power of giving? What's the power of forgiving? What's the power of being patient? Why should you have enhance your level of temperance, why would you tithe? You get, the idea is catching the young person first, then once he has seen you do it, then you're able to have a one-on-one discussion. The point is, how do you catch them? Okay, how do you catch them? Catch their attention, because you said younger people want to do what they see than what you are telling them to do. In most cases, I could be wrong, but the whole idea of this talk, for example, is ensuring that the discussion we're going to have with that young person, the one-on-one discussion we're going to have, then we can talk about any topic. I mean, once every month, the second Saturday of the month, I meet one of my mentors, and we are 2 or 3 of us. And sometimes we meet and he tells you, Jared, niongeleshe leo. Just tell me anything that I want to hear. I mean, let's just have a talk. And we start talking like this. We've gotten into the financial, how do you do your financial planning? How do you deal with your family sometimes? So what happens is that mentorship ideally is not unidirectional. It is two-way, but the whole idea is that, are you able to attract the attention of that person so that you're able to have that discussion so that he can learn? Otherwise, if it is about teaching, then it will become part of coursework. And coursework usually results into an exam, and mentorship has no exam, then you lose the energy. Okay. I don't know whether I've seen another hand. No other hand there.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Beth. Welcome, Beth. Anyone else? Anyone else? Let me stop sharing, maybe. So that I could see people. Maybe I would ask, I don't know, Eva, how many more minutes do we have so that I can ask a few questions? Or are there questions in the chat?
No, I don't see any questions on the chat section. Just encouraging messages from the attendees. Beth says, thank you. Leonard says, quite enlightening. Is it Leonard, yeah, been quite enlightening and insightful. And so we can keep the comments coming on the comment section. For those who are not able to ask their questions on audio, you can type them on the comment section, and Mr. Jared will be able to answer the questions that you have. So we can do that on the comment section. Any comment, any question, any inquiry that you may have, please put it down there and we'll be able to access it.
In the event, I'm not sure, yeah, in the event someone needs either more clarification or a one-on-one discussion with me, I have put down my email there, jared.mayieka. You could use it and share back with me. Otherwise, I'm very grateful for having such obedient audience, and may God bless you.
Thank you, Jared. Are you still there?
Sorry?
Mr. Jared? Oh, you're there. Oh, sorry. Thank you so much for joining us in this session and for sharing with us more on mentorship and what we can do to reach the younger generation. Thank you so much. You have really expounded on engaging millennials and the ways to engage them and the art of communication, which is, we really appreciate that. Maybe I can just mention a few highlights. I've also, when you check for everyone who's here, you can check the comment section. Let me put my video on. Sorry, you can check the comment section, and I have inserted some of the highlights from the discussion that we've had this afternoon about the definition of mentorship, offering support, and support is not just support. It's quite broad. Engaging millennials with mentoring, the initial assessment, finding out why mentoring could work, particularly in an organization, and the cultures that we need to change, finding a program that works for you, finding reinforcement, and planning what happens after the mentoring program has finished, and also ways in which we can reach out to these young people, engaging them with mobile and social communications. I like this because this is sort of like, say, go where they are, in the world that in this century we are in the trends that we are seeing. A lot of the young people, we can find them on social media, we can find them digitally. And so it's important that we go out to them so that we don't lose touch with the young people. And so engaging with them, offering them free resources, rather than just telling them, show them, giving them a chance to explore before joining, offering outstanding value. They're looking for value for money, as Mr. Jared pointed it out. If you have an event, you can have Nyamachoma or something, and you'll find the young people coming to join, and then create a chance for them to get involved and to make a difference, so that they can feel that their voice is being heard and that their opinions matter. That is very, very what's the word? Insightful. And the art of communication, letting them speak and giving them a chance to speak. I really liked this statistic that communication is 7% what you say, 38% how you use your voice, and 55% non-verbal cues. That is very, very insightful. And other points to note, like eye contact and encouraging them, repeating and summarizing and paraphrasing what they have said. It also shows that you have been attentive to what they were saying, waiting for them to finish what they were talking about, and then engaging them at that point. Putting away your cell phone and your iPod, give them your full attention, and also focusing on them. That is very key. And as well, when we started, I think the key questions that each of us will go with after this as we plan, for the one who was trying to find their niche in mentorship, for the one who had a question, who was asking himself or herself, how can I reach out to the younger generation? Some of the questions that we are all leaving this session with is, who is your mentor and why? And do you have a mentor? And where have we seen mentoring relationships in the media, and what qualities do we see in good mentors? So thank you, Mr. Jared, for that. We have really enjoyed this session. Maybe I can read some of the comments that are on the comment section. Edwina says, I like the comment on youth loving free things. I've seen that a lot. We call them incentives. The other highlight was the need to have fun and not lectures, and that is very, very key. We can see Andrew saying, I really appreciate the presentation. I'm happy to be part of it and will always join whenever AIU does any function like this. Will there be a way to get this information? And also mention that really there are some areas we never realized to assist the young ones. So I know Mr. Jared will share the presentation, the PowerPoint presentation with all of us. And so kindly let us input our contact details on the comment section so that we can get the PowerPoint presentation with us. And also I'll be sharing the recording of the meeting. We are also live on Facebook. So for those who are joining us from Facebook, thank you so much for joining. You can also find the recording there. It will be permanently there on the official AIU Facebook page. As I said, I'll also share the recording on our emails. And so be sure to look forward to that and the PowerPoint presentation that Mr. Jared has shared with us. Thank you so much for joining us for this session today. As I said at the beginning of the meeting, is that this is just one of the initiatives that the AIU Alumni Association and the Alumni Office would love to give back towards our alumni and also towards the AIU community. And so we will be having several of these talks through the rest of the year. We are now halfway through the year. And so would love all of you to be able to join us and even share with your colleagues at your workplaces, with your families, with your colleagues in your institutions, if you're studying or if you're working, and even in your church. Just come and plug in and be part of this engaging conversation. And so our next talk will be on the 12th of July, which is 2 weeks from today. And so we will be talking about a very interesting topic, and it is answering the question, life after graduation is not as I expected. And this is mainly targeting the young people, and we want to hear from them and to hear from, from an expert, what are the stages, what happens after you finish graduation. I know we have sometimes you finished, you have anticipated and you have expected to get a job after you have graduated, and then you are not able to get a job as soon as you expected. And so how are you able to cope with that? And so please tune in on the 12th of July. We will be hosting a talk, an alumni talk on life after graduation was not as I expected. We'll be having an amazing speaker sharing with us. So I will be sending the invites in the few days that are coming, and kindly share with your friends, with your colleagues, so that we can have as many people getting to hear about this. And thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for making time to be part of this conversation today. If you have any questions, you can kindly reach out to the alumni office. Let me just put in our email address, and you can be able to reach out to us. You can check the comment section, alumni.office@aiu.ac.ke. Any inquiry that you have, kindly reach out to us. If you'd like to partner with the alumni office in one way or another, also kindly reach out. We will be happy to know how we can partner together in this regard. And so at this point, I'd like to invite Mr. Leonard Stoll, who is the AIU Alumni Association Assistant Treasurer, to give us a vote of thanks and to also end the meeting with a word of prayer. Karibu, Mr. Leonard.
Sorry if I'm in a matatu, maybe somebody can help on that side. Yeah.
Okay, all right, no problem. I'd like to call upon one of us to pray. Mr. Andrew Kang, are you able to pray for us? And maybe before you pray, you can share with us a highlight of how you found the talk, and then you can pray for us as we wind up. Thank you.
Okay. Heavenly and gracious Father, we thank you for guiding us through all this activity of how we can encourage youth wherever they are. We thank you for the presentation that you use your son for presentation, that we hear how we can encourage the young ones. Bless us and bless each and every one. Also, I'm asking you to bless AIU where they are carrying out the activities of encouraging every people to love you and to have your word in the hearts. Father God, we also encourage those who have not yet gotten to this place to have the interest of coming and joining for other purposes of the human life, but mostly for the purpose of glorying your name. We pray and glorify your name, for in Jesus' name we do pray. And amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mr. Andrew. We really appreciate that. Thank you all for joining us. You are free to leave at your own time. Remember, on the 12th of July, we will be hosting our next alumni talk. Life after graduation is not as I expected. So kindly share with your friends and your colleagues at work and wherever you are. And let's meet again on the 12th of July. Karibuni sana. Anna Ramtu says amen. Thank you. Andrew says welcome. As you leave, you can leave a comment on the comment section. And thank you so much. We are live on Facebook. Thank you for those who joined us on Facebook. We are really appreciative of your support. As we said, 12th of July, join us again for the next alumni talk. We will see you there. Bye-bye.